Alright everyone, welcome back. Although I'm not actually surprised by what has gone down over the last 10 hours or so in terms of YouTube finally, after a week, responding to the Sniperwolf situation, I do have to say that it is still completely ridiculous what happened, and it does need to be talked about, because stuff like this cannot be set as a precedent for like how YouTubers can act and how YouTube are going to respond to those to those actions. Pretty much to give you a quick rundown, Jax Films was doxxed by Sniperwolf after Jax Films made a ton of videos on Sniperwolf criticizing her, and Sniperwolf took it upon herself to literally drive to Jax Films' house, post a picture of his house to her Instagram story, and then gloat about it on her story for the next couple days, acting like it didn't really matter, and you know, she could get away with it. Essentially, a few days after this, everyone, including Jax Films, was riled up, like going on Twitter, talking to Team YouTube, trying to get them to do something to Sniperwolf, trying to get YouTube to essentially ban her channel from the platform because it clearly states in like their TOS and you know everything like that that is clearly not allowed. You can't go to someone's house after a disagreement on the internet. That is ridiculous. Imagine making a few videos on someone and then that person that you made a few videos on goes to your house and posts it on their Instagram story to 5 million people. I'm pretty sure you'd want YouTube to do something about their channel at that point. And YouTube in the past have set a standard where if you do stuff even like remotely close to that, like a lot less than that, your channel can get terminated, you can lose monetization forever, you can have permanent damage to like your YouTube reputation. So you'd think surely Sniperwolf doing this and posting it to a 5 million followed Instagram would have at least something remotely close to that, right? Well, YouTube, after having their comments completely destroyed by people for the last week on Instagram and Twitter, after 6 days, came up with this as a response. They responded to Jax Films' original tweet where he talked about like Sniperwolf doxing him, and this is YouTube's response after 6 days. Confirming, Sniperwolf has received a temporary monetization suspension per creator responsibility policies. Off-platform actions that put others' personal safety at risk and harm our community, and the behavior on both sides is not what we want on YT. Hoping everyone moves this convo to a better place. Okay, firstly, we'll talk about the actual punishment in a second. But both sides? The behavior on both sides isn't what we want on YouTube. Can you please tell me, what did Jax Films do that was bad? The behavior on both sides. I actually can't believe that is part of the response. I think how many comments and reposts compared to the amount of likes that this tweet got kind of just shows how people feel about this. 10 million views and 6,000 likes isn't much of a good response, I'd say. But bro, how on earth can they sit there and say both sides isn't what they want on YouTube? Their favoritism in this situation is so obviously clear. If the roles were reversed and Jax Films did this to Sniperwolf, he would have been banned already, like by far, without a shadow of a doubt. He'd be off the platform and looking for a job at McDonald's. Like bro, this is ridiculous. Sniperwolf has 34 million subscribers, Jax Films has 4 million. It is so obvious who they're favoring. Sniperwolf brings in $1 million a month for him. I mean, like, you can just clearly tell like what's going on here. Now let's talk about the actual punishment. Like bro, temporary monetization. I was gonna say a week of like losing monetization, but I don't even know. Like, what does temporary monetization suspension mean? When does the monetization suspension start? Like, we don't know any of this stuff. YouTube could so clearly just go out and like give us the actual details of what's going on. They could link like a suspension list, like going through what's going on with Sniperwolf, like what are they actually gonna do to her? But instead they sat there and gone temporary monetization suspension and left it at that. That is so vague. Temporary monetization suspension could mean 4 hours, that could mean 4 days, that could mean a week, that could mean 6 years. We don't know. What does temporary mean? But yeah, bro, this is the most cop-out tweet I've ever seen in my entire life. There is absolutely nothing. There is nothing that is a punishment about this. I made my own response to this, and I felt like I should put it in the video. Let's say this is 1 week. I'm sure taking $250,000 out of a $1 million monthly paycheck is gonna hurt real bad, Lamau. And look, I know it's kind of biased, but like, am I wrong? Like, realistically, she probably makes $1 million a month on that channel. Like, not even including sponsorships, not including outside deals that she has with other companies. She pulls in 200 million views a month. That has to be at least $1 million a month. So again, let's say it's a week suspension. You're gonna take 250 grand out of her monthly paycheck? That is nothing for Sniperwolf. This is literally like having a fine for someone speeding. Like, it's literally just a lower class punishment. This doesn't affect Sniperwolf in any way. Yeah, bro, I mean, like, as much much as we can rant and rave and go on Twitter and like you say, oh, we need a bigger punishment than this, I feel like at this point, YouTube has already responded, and I feel like getting this response was hard enough. I feel like at this point that there's not really much point going on Twitter and trying to bark up another response, because it's just not going to happen at this point. And after this response by YouTube, SSSniperwolf decided to arc up and come out with an actual apology tweet, which obviously from past apology tweets, we know will never go down well. Let me start by saying I'm sorry for my recent actions. It is inexcusable. I'm sorry to Jax Films, YouTube, and the entire community, and my incredible fans for not being a better example for appropriate conflict resolution. I'm kind of not really understanding the wording here. But firstly, I love it how she's like, let me start off by saying my recent actions are inexcusable. You literally went onto Instagram's story after you did this whole thing and started gloating about it and saying, oh, who should we dox next, lol, like making a joke out of it. And you continued to post YouTube videos every single day like nothing happened. I'm actually kind of curious, what is the sudden urge to apologize? Like, I don't understand. I mean, you got your punishment, and the punishment clearly does nothing to you. You could have just sat here in silence. I don't really understand what the, like from her perspective, I don't get what the point in apologizing is. I'm kind of thinking that YouTube have gone to her privately and sort of said, please, can you apologize so like we don't have a huge conflict here. My guess is that someone at YouTube like went out to her personally and told her to apologize. There's no way she's actually sorry. She doesn't give a shit. Jax Films, while we certainly don't see eye to eye and have our differences, I'm sorry for reacting the way I did when I should have taken the opportunity to show young creators and adults how professional resolve. This wording doesn't make sense. And professionals resolve conflict by communicating directly, respectfully, and privately, not for views or content, but a meaningful example of how conflict should be solved. I will reach out directly and hope we can find some time to connect and communicate respectfully. I'd also like to thank YouTube for holding me accountable. YouTube has not held you accountable. Okay, I'll keep going. I deserve it, respect the decision, and appreciate the opportunity to learn and grow from a true lapse in judgment. Yeah, right, yeah. YouTube really held you accountable by taking away a tiny bit of your ad revenue. Oh, 100%. This is complete, bro. And the fact that SSSniperwolf is sitting here and saying like, yeah, you know, YouTube have done the right thing. They haven't done enough. SSSniperwolf sitting here saying that like, oh yeah, I deserve the punishment. You deserve a lot more. What is this? Nah, bro. I mean, like, at the end of the day, I can't really get too riled up about this because, I mean, like, again, like I said at the start of the video, do I expect anything different from YouTube? Do I expect anything different than for them to favorite their 34 million subscriber reaction channel? Not really. I don't expect anything different. Anyway, click the video on screen right now because YouTube thinks you'll enjoy it, and I'll see you all over there. Subscribe.